I want to know what the hell is going on.
I went to bed with a really bad toothache last night.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That's the worst.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and it's 85% gone, so I'm okay, but I might be a little grumpy.
Do you have any low cost or free dental clinics you can use?
Yeah, I mean, we got a liquor store and I can buy a hammer, so that works.
Hey, a good tip: combine ibuprofen with aspirin. It's either aspirin or Tylenol.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Tylenol.
It's an ibuprofen with Tylenol.
Yeah, I've been down this road. I appreciate it. I've been down a few times, and that's it's one of the methods I use.
Worst.
Yeah.
If you've ever had an abscess, when the stings happen, when the wave hits, you could be holding your own baby, and you would drop your baby just to hold your face, even though it's not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, tooth pain is the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. Maybe that means that I've led a privileged life. I don't know, but in my life, personally, it's been the worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
That fucking scene in Castaway fucking gets me, dude. It's so rough. Have you seen that?
It's been a long time.
He has to excise his abscessed tooth with an ice skate and a rock.
Oh, right. I remember now. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I am glad I've never seen that, because that already makes me want to vomit into my mouth.
Yeah, it's like a figure skater skate.
Yeah.
And he's got to hold it against the ground or something like that.
He has to hold it against his
face.
He has to hold it against his tooth and smack the back of it with a rock.
See, I didn't need that description. I didn't. It was bad enough in my brain.
Hi, everybody. We're Screen Share and Chill, a podcast about movies. See, we're talking about Castaway.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jamie.
Here I am looking at the notes for the movie that we're doing this week, and the first thing I saw was Worst Scientists in a Movie. Oh, wrong movie.
Yeah, definitely the wrong movie.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can imagine somebody watching this and thinking, these scientists have no idea what they're doing.
Jamie, why don't you tell the people what we watched?
We watched The Conjuring this week. And for a little backstory, like I gave the guys before we started the movie, my family is me, and I have 4 sisters. And my parents moved us all into a farmhouse in the 70s. And this movie,
haunted farmhouse, right?
It was
so this
haunted.
Is a story about your life.
It's not a story about my life, but it certainly hit home for me when I watched it the first time. So
you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. This story is based off of Jamie's life. Her real life experiences are on the screen for you all.
It might explain the vitriol that you'll hear me spew later if that were true.
Ooh, vitriol. That means bad, right? So you don't like this movie? Oh,
That's not what I said.
So tell us, what brought you? When did you first see it? Why did you like it when you? I don't know. What's a good question to ask you for? Why did you pick this above anything else? Why was this your choice?
So I picked it this time because I'm already in spooky mode and I like spooky movies, and
Here.
I wanted a spooky series, and this is a spooky series, and it spawned a lot of other spooky series. And since it hit so home for me, and the second movie also has a scene that is a very specific fear that I had as a child that made me scream and throw my popcorn literally in the movie theater like I was that person. So yeah, we'll get to that one later.
Well, it did pretty well in the box office, too. Budget of $20 million, box office of over 320, so...
Mm-hmm. And I saw it in the theaters.
They made $300 off of
right.
this, so they did pretty well. They could afford to take everybody out to dinner once.
And it is based on a, quote, true story, end quote.
Yeah,
those are real big quote marks, I would say. Those are quotes with asterisks and red flyers and fireworks going off. It is a true story as much as, I don't know, as much as LaCroix is true fruit juice.
La Croix?
Hey, we've been informed that is incorrect. You can't say it like a French person or else you go to jail immediately.
That's like someone trying to get me to say Jif. meaning moving picture image. It's never gonna happen, buddy.
Yeah, GIF is a type of
that's
peanut butter. Yeah, that's not.
It's le croix. It's a croissant, and it's a GIF.
Yeah, I will never call GIF GIF unless Jod himself comes down from heaven and tells me to.
Just, unless you ever see beautiful graphics.
Yes. Look at the beautiful graphics in my video game here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Jif is a peanut butter, and it is the world's best peanut butter, and we will not sully its name with a moving picture that is used for memes.
If you happen to work for the company Jif, please get in touch with us.
Yes.
Before we start getting into the meat and potatoes of our discussion, is there anything interesting facts that either of you would like to toss out there? Most of mine will probably come into discussion, so...
Yeah, mine will come in a later column.
What about you, Jamie? Any interesting facts that we would want to know about this movie?
I think I covered the ones that I would have covered, because, I mean, I will, again, shout out things as we go through, because there are things that hit home in particular.
All right, then we might be setting a record, because I think it's time...
to talk about the good.
Keith, why don't you give me a few of yours first?
Well, first of all, my first note is that this is just a well-directed movie. It's James Wan, who, I believe got his start with the Saw franchise. But, a lot of really good directors that go on to, illustrious careers start in horror, because it's kind of, to build the tension, it's like utilize every camera trick in the book. There's reverse shots, there's upside down shots, there's tracking shots, there's a lot of motion throughout it. And within the first, 10 minutes of the movie, I had already noticed quite a few of these, and I was just like, this is a well-directed movie. It has good motion, good pacing. Yeah,
you usually don't see this much. Usually with movies that have this much movement, it's CGI heavy or special effects heavy in such a, in a very jarring way. This keeps it, a lot of the effects are practical, so the camera moving around, that feels like the special effect. That, it still feels grounded in reality, because what you're looking at is still real stuff, as far as I know. So. Yeah.
Yep. And that and the combo of a good classic horror movie title card reveal. I'm a sucker for a good title card drop, and this one did it. It's just like all red text, over I think it was just a black screen while the music's swelling up. I'm in.
All I was missing was the copyright in the bottom right-hand corner.
What about you, Kelly?
I will be straightforward that I didn't take a lot of notes on this movie. It's not that I wasn't paying attention. It's not that I didn't have... it just didn't really inspire a lot of outside of an investigation for me, I guess you could say.
I kind of agree with that, because I have I have some notes, but it is a little bit less and shorter than my other lists. Partly because I was entertained and watching, and partly because... I don't say this as a negative thing, but not a crazy amount of notable things, if that makes sense. Not that that's bad.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't have any...
Yeah,
I had a couple of somewhat strong opinions about, 2 facts that we'll get into in later categories. But other than that, this movie, I didn't have any extreme feelings about it one way or another, I guess you could say. I felt it was kind of safe in that way, which is weird because we're talking about a horror movie with a million jump scares and yada yada. But so I only have 3 things in my good column. One that I'll just throw out there, it's very vague, but it's or general, but whatever. That I love the look of this movie. I've gotten to the point, I brought it up to you guys after the movie, that I think horror movies are kind of jumping up in my mind as one of the best aesthetic genres. And I don't know why.
To hear you say that.
Yeah, I don't know how this happens or why it happens. It feels like maybe because horror directors and director of photographies that are working on horror projects know that we're going to be lingering on stills for a long period of time building tension. So they put a lot of attention into the set, and maybe that doesn't mean that they have a painter on set scratching paint and doing all these fine details. They pick their locations. They pick what they want their camera to look like. The horror movies are generally, aside from the horrible things that are happening, are beautiful things to look at. And I really appreciated about this movie how I wrote it was the old wood and painted chip. Wait, hold on. the old paint chipped on old wood look is really cool to me. Whether it's an old farmhouse or it's an old house or old in a city with a wooden building, that kind of thing. I think that kind of shit is cool. And this movie
that's the
interesting.
Aesthetic. It's visually interesting without doing a damn thing. It's just there, and it creates its own weird patterns. Yeah,
it's got a texture. 100%. I can feel the wall without, I don't have to touch it. I know what it feels like. I know what it smells like.
There's a reason why Gothic horror has been around for so long, and this movie has a ton of Gothic horror elements, namely the house being a huge character in and of itself of the movie.
Oh, and I was raised in a Southern Baptist family. Like, my dad's side of the family is all Southern, and I went to churches that you would feel this kind of paint on the old Sunday school classroom walls because they just couldn't afford new paint, that kind of stuff. And it's super tactile, and I don't just mean that in touch. I mean, I feel like I could smell it. I can hear what it feels. I could hear what it sounds like to be in that building with nobody home. I know what the creaks sound like, kind of thing. So, What about you, Jamie? Give me one of your goods.
So my first good, although I agree with everything both of you are saying, is that the family dynamic and the furnishings of this house are so very realistic and time appropriate. The sheets that they use, the clothing that they wear, the material that they're all made out of, those patterns. I know I shouted out to you guys a few times. The patterns on the sheets, we had all of those patterns in our house.
Yeah.
Like all the little floral pattern sheets that they were hanging up, that they were sleeping in, the nightgowns that the girls were wearing that all matched.
Yeah.
Those are, like, it had a really realistic and grounded in actual reality feel to it from the get-go. And that helps when you're doing it based on true story. So that was my first one.
Is that a little anachronistic? I mean, is that a little out of time for them, too? Because I'm seeing here that the plot is that this is in 1971, that this is supposed to take place. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know, that's kind of what everything looked like in the late 70s, early 80s. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit too nitpicky. Because I grew up with these sheets in the house. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, what are the odds?
I did too, but like I figure that we had it for 10 years or so because, we didn't have a lot of money when you have 5 kids.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't really matter because I just feel like I'm right there with you. I didn't put that to words or thought before, but those sheets, those were the backup sheets my mom had in the hope chest, that in case we ran out of sheets and didn't do all of our laundry for 6 months, we had an extra 8-pack of sheets, but they were all 70s sheets that had these weird floral patterns. There was always this weird yellow patina over everything, and you weren't sure if it was the cigarette smoke or if they were designed that way. You don't really know about anything in the 70s, 80s, if they were designed with the yellow tint or if it was just all the cigarette smoke.
I also felt like the build of tension in this movie, and Keith kind of already touched on it, was just really good. And I think that and it kind of goes into my next note, which is the flipping back and forth between the haunted house situation with all the tension and then flipping back to like a scene in a classroom where they're discussing what has happened, and that immediately kills that tension, helped them ramp up the tension more in the haunted house scene, so that those all felt very tense and edge of your seat and like you were about to explode, because they could immediately cut away from it and give you that relief. So I really enjoyed that as part of the movie.
And also, when the tension does finally explode, it gets going pretty good, and it doesn't let up until the end. Like once the ending scenario starts, it kind of doesn't let up until it's over.
Yeah,
so it's
the whole third act, basically.
Yeah, it's like once she's actively possessed, it goes pretty quick, and I appreciate that.
Do you have a couple more to give me, Keith? Because I've only gotten like 2.
Yeah, I have a few. I could go off of a couple. The dog not wanting to enter, even if there was no like paranormal activity happening on top of that, would freak me out for like.
That would be a huge red flag.
Yes,
yeah.
If I brought a date home, if I brought a date home that was beautiful and brilliant and funny, and we got along, and my dog hated her, I don't know. I don't know if we have a second date, even. Let alone I'm going to move into your house. Hell no.
Yep.
So it's a nice touch that I buy into completely.
100%.
Yes. And that dog never went in the house.
No, it didn't. It didn't go anywhere. It stayed right there till it died.
Oh. R.I.P. Poochie. Did you guys notice the clear Poltergeist homage when we cut to the static on the TV and linger on that for a minute? Because that's essentially what this movie is kind of a modern Poltergeist, you know? They have the paranormal investigating team that comes in. There's a lot. It makes me think that maybe part of Poltergeist was inspired by the zeitgeist around the Warrens and some of those
Very
stories.
possible.
Very similar.
Very possibly. Yeah. I find the paranormal team from Poltergeist to be more believable as actual humans than the Warrens.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like a lot of horror movies that we've seen, they just borrow from a lot of quote-unquote real haunting stories. Like, if they'll tell the story about A haunting, and they'll borrow from B, C, D, and E, just one little tidbit from each one. And that, I don't know, it makes for such a better dramatic story, but also, isn't there part of your brains that go, well, now it's less true, and now it's even less true, you know, and it waters it down almost? That's part of what I didn't like about The Mothman, if you remember, that I really enjoyed the stuff where they stuck to what the original author said, and then when they deviated, I'm like, whatever, now you're just making shit up. You know, I don't care, it's not a true story anymore.
Right.
The hide and clap game is a masterful setup and payoff horror thing where that last time they're playing and those ghostly hands just come out of the closet and clap. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Totally terrifying.
If you saw this in the theater, that's one of those where everybody in the theater screams at once kind of thing.
I don't think they even scream it. I think that's the you
it was
hear
just
everyone starts in the air.
Yep.
I'll save this next one for last. Somebody go ahead.
Paranormal researchers finding nothing is so beautiful. I wish we saw that more. I'm sure it happens in the private...
ghost hunters.
I'm sure it happens 100% of the time, Kelly.
Well, I mean, no, I'm sure it happens in the private sector of investigative, paranormal, whatever. But I put it this way, Jamie, you can say that there are TV shows where they mostly find nothing exciting there. I'm curious, how the fuck do these TV shows stay on the air then? The average person would not want to watch a TV show that if you had a 26-episode season and they only found ghosts in 3 of them, then just tell me which ones they found the ghosts in. Those are the episodes I'm going to watch. I'm not going to watch the other 22, you know? Like,
I found it more interesting when they didn't find anything.
Oh, I get you. I get you 100%. That adds realism to it. And that is what's real life. And that's why real life paranormal investigation is boring, fucking time-consuming work where you question your life choices after spending 10 hours staring at a wall that does nothing. Like, it doesn't...
Hey, they also cover that.
Yeah, and so, like, seeing that in a movie where these heroes, these perfect, beautiful paladins of demon hunting... say that they didn't find anything at a paranormal investigation. I like that. I really appreciate that. And it made me think how reality TV has warped my view of this because I don't expect to see this kind of stuff. And then I had a small tangent that just made me go, what has reality TV done for dating? Like, during the reality TV era when it was becoming big, it was easy for those of us that lived before reality TV to be like, this doesn't make any sense. You all are idiots. But now we have kids that are growing up that's what they think dating was like 15 years ago. And like, so you're supposed to turn to the invisible camera and mock your date during the, I don't know. But anyway, so.
I'm just saying that we can trace all the evil of the world today back to the fact that the writer's strike made a boom in reality TV.
Oh, so many TV shows
Maybe not
ruined.
all, but a good amount.
God bless unions and strikes and all that, but heroes, I will never forget you. You were so good before the writer's strike.
Pushing daisies.
Now that you say that, Jamie, that's actually, you're not wrong. I've never thought about that, and I'm having.
We could do an entire intermission on my theory about this.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little show called The Apprentice.
That's the meme of the pushing down the tiny little brick, and it goes and becomes a big one, and the tiny dominoes. Brick is the writer's strike, and the big brick is World War III.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez,
Lord.
because people have made that comparison that if Jerry Ryan wasn't cast in Voyager, then Obama would never have been president. There's this weird connection there because her Jerry Ryan, the person that played Seven of Nine, her husband ran for the Senate, and because she came out with an expose that detailed that he was a horribly abusive guy, that's why Obama definitely got his Senate seat and then went on to become president. And so Star Trek Voyager influenced the United States election. Yeah, I love this shit. That kind of stuff is so much fun.
Yeah.
7 of 9, more like 6 of 9. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Get
Lord.
him out of here.
Oh.
Anyways.
I have the hots. I have a crush on Jerry Ryan, okay?
Understandable. She's gorgeous.
And I will say that if we ever got into watching Voyager more, she is actually a very, very talented actor. And honestly, out of that entire show, I never would have guessed it beforehand because she's the sex object, but by the end of it, you could make a strong argument that she dwarfs anybody else's acting ability in the entire fucking cast of Star Trek Voyager.
I mean, I believe it. She's great.
Yeah, I mean, she's not just beautiful, she's also really talented, Keith. That's what I'm just, she's a person.
She's the full package.
Anyways, on to the next good. I only have one left, so I really appreciated the demon effects.
Oh, yeah.
Whether they were through the voices and that kind of stuff, I appreciated what they looked like when we saw them. I thought that the effects, I don't know for sure how much of it was practical, how much of it was CGI, how much of it was painted on by airbrush. I don't fucking know, because it kind of all looked pretty seamless to me.
The fucking when the sheet flies and just like it catches on an invisible form, that's such a good shot. I'm sure that was CG,
and then flies up.
but it was fucking awesome. Like that would scare the shit out of me.
Even the dragging the child around by the hair, like a lot of these things, it's wonderful when I'm watching a movie and I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? Because I'm thinking about like safety laws for actors.
Right? Yeah.
Which actor, like, can you just whip a child around a room by their neck like that? No, obviously. So they must have found, maybe they found an adult actor with a small frame and they used perspective. I don't know. And that's beautiful to me because
hair
it could have been just CGI
attached to a harness on their back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't, because it felt like they were not only dragging her around the room all willy-nilly, but she was slamming into furniture with her legs and stuff like that too. So like, as an actor, this is all marked out ahead of time. They don't accidentally slam an actor's body parts into set. That's right. Just I assume either somebody came out of this filming going, "Oh my God, that was the worst, most traumatic physical abusive experience of my life," or they were incredibly talented, and I am fooled as an audience member going, "How the fuck?" So, and that's my last.
Mine is just the overall creep factor, like. Throughout the entire movie, there is a prevalence of just skin crawling, hairs on the back of your neck creeping up. It's so well done that it paints that entire atmosphere from go, and I love that about it.
The when the demon makes itself known and actually possesses her, it almost goes like 100% down the Evil Dead aesthetic route, and I'm here for it. Like the way they show the possession is she's like puking blood into the mom's mouth, you know, and that's a very goopy Evil Dead thing, and just
goopy. Why'd you gotta say goopy? Why'd you gotta do it?
When she's got the sheet over and she's tied to the chair, that shit is horrific. The noises she's making, she starts levitating. And that one rip where you can just see like the side of the face and the yellow eye peering out and the cackling, it's fucking awesome. That's the kind of Evil Dead demon stuff that I'm super into, because it's just so off-putting. It's like this person that you know is now this horrid entity that's like damaging themselves and trying to kill you, and like, what do you do in that situation? Very, very good horror stuff at the end of this.
Yes.
The in conjunction with that, almost to the point where I wanted just a little bit more, the home camcorder aesthetic that happens for a little bit when they're in the basement, very cool. I guess that falls into the leave them wanting more, because I wanted just a little more, because I really like the film grain and the sound of the camera going, you know. It's good creepy time aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And my very last note, during, I believe it's the montage when the paranormal investigators are setting up, there's a song that plays. And I wanted to remember it, so I wrote down the lyrics. And, let's see, let me find it because I lost the page. It's a band called, Dead Man's Bones, and the song is called, In the Room Where You Sleep. And in my investigation, finding this, because I really liked it, it's an old, sort of, maybe a clip will appear here magically somewhere, but, it's very, 70s sort of, they got the organs going and the 70s rock. It turns out that is Ryan Gosling's rock band, and he is singing that song. I found that incredibly interesting.
What?
So Ryan Gosling is in
insane.
this movie indirectly.
Yeah, technically, yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
Wow. That song is Kenneth. Did I wonder? Did you look into it at all? Like, it was an explicit thing. Did Ryan and the band approach the movie and say we want to be a part of this project, or
that's
just
their
randomly
song
that they picked
and
the
their
movie?
aesthetic.
And
Yeah, the song was picked because it fit the aesthetic, and it's about a haunted house.
And then afterwards, they did the math and went, "Oh, look here." Yeah,
I'm
hey,
sure
Ryan.
they knew once they picked it because it's from 2009, and I believe he was an established property by then. So
yeah, but they picked
Right.
it for its artistic merit, not the name
Yeah,
attached
yeah.
to it. They didn't advertise now with a song with Ryan Gosling.
right, because I never heard that. I had no clue he was even in a band, and it's just a funny little happenstance that I found extremely interesting.
I've just had about enough of that guy. He's everywhere. He's perfect. How the fuck are guys like Keith and I supposed to live in a world where Ryan Gosling exists?
We're talking about Ryan Gosling, not Pedro Pascal.
I mean,
how required by contract to be in every movie and TV
Pedro
show.
Pascal is Ryan Gosling with an accent. Okay, like they're the same kind of energy. At least I don't know. Coming from a cis guy's point of view, they both give very safe bro energy to me. So,
yep, they are just written in different fonts. Same wording written in different fonts.
And that exhausts our good, so let's talk about the bad.
I'm going to start. My very first bad is don't let entities move into anything. Like, if something... No, that is bad. Don't do it. I don't care if it's a doll. I don't care if it's a wooden box. I don't care what it is.
Or don't you
do
understand? If you don't let it move into the box, it just floats all about willy-nilly and just flies into anything and everyone it wants to.
Those girls in the beginning, they're like, oh, this entity is so annoying. Fine, just move into the doll, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they die.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So this is a movie that's anti-homelessness? It's basically saying, if you put your homeless people... No, it's pro. It's telling you, get the homeless people homes, because then they...
before they become entities.
Yes, there you go.
Just lock them into a sanctuary district somewhere so that average people don't have to interact with them. Yeah,
or imprison the homeless in cursed dolls, and that'll clean up your streets.
Okay, this message is not endorsed by Screen Share and Chill LLC or any of its affiliates.
You got some bad for us, Kel?
I've got two. Speaking of this whole, gosh, mister kind of idea, I think that his explanation of how haunting is like bubblegum that sticks to your shoe felt very gosh mister to me. It felt are we watching the fucking Andy Griffith show? And part of me was like, it kind of ripped me out of the scene a little bit, but then I realized that somebody in 1971 or 1973 or whatever the fuck this is, they might have to use that kind of tone. That was considered the politically correct salesman tone, is to be like, well, partner, the one thing you can definitely do to make your home a little bit safer is to have a huge minefield in your front yard. You gotta have that overdone, you're an advertiser on the TV kind of selling things, and
Well,
smoking's good for you, mister.
They were basically televangelists, the Warrens. So.
Yeah, without being overly religious, but overly religious. And it's just, and also the analogy of getting bubblegum stuck on your shoe. I'm thinking, bro, getting bubblegum off of your shoe is very simple compared to dehaunting your place or exorcising your loved one. That's like, so you're telling me I could just throw the shoe off. So if I went out and I was wearing a leather jacket and I started getting haunting, just don't bring the leather jacket in the house, leave it outside and throw it in the dumpster somewhere. Problem solved? No? Okay, well, it's a little different than getting gum stuck on your fucking shoe.
Gosh, mister, if you want to get rid of all that motor oil, just dig a hole in the ground, fill it with rocks, and pour it right in there.
Exactly. That's
but wait a second.
What it felt like to me.
Let's go back to what you just said, Kelly, because what do the Warrens do with the haunted objects? They take them out of the house and they put them in their house and they say that keeps it contained. So in their brain, that is how it works.
They've got a bubblegum museum of their own. Gosh, mister, if you bring in some bubblegum, you just give it to us. We'll take it home. We'll add it to our bubblegum ball. It's the biggest bubblegum ball in 15 counties.
And we're gonna put that bubblegum ball in our house with our daughter.
With our daughter and tell her she's never allowed to have bubblegum, but you can look at it from afar.
Yeah.
That's my main bad note is, sweetie, what did mommy and daddy say about staying out of the cursed artifacts room? Like, what?
With all the toys, all the child's toys arrayed in, like, display cabinets to make them seem more alluring. Why don't they put neon signs that went, toys here, toys here,
right.
Toys here.
Don't go into the cool toy room, sweetie. You're not allowed.
Never ever go there, or your soul could be tortured for eternity.
Right, you'll be damned to hell. So, the single deadbolt ought to do it.
We're going to live on top of a chocolate factory, and our child is diabetic. And
right. Right.
Exactly. You know when you find something really awesome and you just want to like tell everybody about it?
Like a cool rock.
Oh, yeah.
Or a great movie.
A nice stick.
Well, that could be us. And you could share us with all your friends.
I want to share the rock, but I don't want to share the stick. Am I a weirdo that way? Like, I want to show you my rock, but my stick, you can't touch it.
That's not...
Sounds
well,
why do you do this?
What I want you to do, bud, is get yourself a tape recorder and just go ahead and record yourself for a whole day.
You'd be surprised at some of your phrasing.
If my life was geared around the idea of don't let anybody touch my stick, it would have turned out differently. Let's just say that.
Right?
You should find cool rocks and share them with your local bank and Starbucks windows.
No, please don't. Please don't.
With the current state of the world, don't invite in that kind of attention to yourself. Right. Just get your coffee and move on.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
So let's say you listen to one of our episodes and you enjoy hearing what you heard, or you dislike what you heard. The best place to go about talking about this is on YouTube, is on Blue Sky, is on Insta, is on Facebook. But aside from these social medias, you know where we have the most meaningful conversations with our fans?
Well, that would be Discord. They're your favorite place on the internet to go rant and rave, possibly besides Reddit. We know y'all have one already. So why not just come be a part of ours? You can be like me, and you can have, like, I don't know, let me look right now. I'm looking, I have possibly, like, 7 to 12, like, fandom Discords I'm in that I just ignore.
Exactly.
Come do that.
and I realized that I called our listeners fans, and all of a sudden I'm reminded that it's the relationship between us and our listeners is less of like a star and a fan, and more of like we're like an elderly person, and we're being helped down the street by the people that are nice enough to listen to the podcast. That's a bit more of an appropriate.
It's like, okay, we're talking today about Lady Hawk. Yeah, okay, Grandpa, let's get you back.
Interspecies erotica.
Oh God, they're doing the Muppet thing again.
But you could also review us at any of the places you can find a podcast. We'd love to see your review, and if you do review us, we will read it on air.
Oh yeah, speaking of Kelly, I believe we have a brand new shiny review for you to read for us. Everyone gather around.
This review was given a while ago. I just don't think we ever got to reading it for everybody, and once you see what the review is about, you'll understand why. It's important for us to have this kind of message get out there in the world. And the review goes like this. They give us 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you. And it says, the Screen Share and Chill podcast is the podcast I've always wanted to start myself. One of the few things I love more than movies is talking about them with fun people. The hosts are great and complement each other well. The pacing is also nice. Kelly has a very nice listening voice with a smiley face emoji.
Okay, now here's the thing, dear listener. You cannot tell Kelly this kind of thing. His head is already like so big he can't make it out of his apartment door. So
if I lean too far to one side, it just kind of topples over and I land on the ground. It's hard for me to get back up.
Wonderful review. Thank you for that. But let's not do any more like that.
Don't feed the bears.
Let's give some compliments to
or
me and Jamie.
Kelly has anxiety, and and he's an artist, so any compliment you give him just gets soaked up like a dried out leaf soaking up water from the soil. So please keep the compliments coming. But yeah, that was very nice. That was a very nice review, so thank you very much for that. Would you like us to read your words? And you know what? Don't think that we'll only read the 5-star reviews. If you give us a 1-star review, I'll fucking read it. Don't even try
I can't
me.
wait
Don't even try
I can't
me.
wait for the first negative review for us to
Yeah, we
read
got a
it.
1-star, but they didn't actually leave any text. They just gave us a 1-star review.
Yeah,
And I'm
boring.
like, what a wasted opportunity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so as long as it's not illegal, we'll read it on the air. If you like openly dox us, I'm not reading
Anyway,
my social security number.
give us some money, huh? We know you got some. Half of you people out there, it's just falling out of your pockets. So like, why not just give us some? Rent us a movie.
Yeah.
It costs.
Believe it or
you
not,
know,
this costs money. It costs us money to put on this. Not only does it cost us money, but we put a lot of time into it. We try to make a really good product for you. So, help us out. We're independent, small-time content creators. If you're enjoying our show, toss us $5, toss us $10. Hell, buy us a trip to Cancun. I've never been to Cancun. That would be nice,
Yeah, do you have your passport? Because you have to have your passport.
Yeah, who am I kidding? I can't leave the country. And
Key
come back
West.
safely. That's
Key
not-
West is in this country. That's a nice place. We'll take Key West.
Besides, yeah, if depending on when you go to Cancun, like if it's during the winter, you have a 50-50 chance of running into Ted Cruz. Oh, but you're supposed to give us money on Ko-Fi. We didn't say Ko-Fi. Go to
Yeah, Ko-Fi.com/screenshare. That's probably an important part of doing an ad. We are such professionals.
Yes.
We are so good at this.
consummate
Cue Christian
professionals.
Bale.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for listening to us, and we're sorry to interrupt your episode to do this. We don't enjoy doing this any more than you enjoy listening to it, but we got to get the word out there.
That's
we
a
gotta,
good one,
we
Kelly.
got to get more people.
Let them know how much we hate doing this.
Yeah, you know what? This little conversation we had, I regret every moment of it just because I hate, yeah, believe that. Believe me, I hate talking on the mic. I never, ever want to do that.
And now back to the show. My next set of bads kind of goes with, like I told you guys, there was a TV show in the late 90s, early 2000s on Discovery called A Haunting, which is where I originally saw the story that this movie is based on. And when I watched that show, I came up with this concept of like a article that you could write of like all the things that you should never see if you're going to buy a house, and your dog that won't go into the house and then dies, and a walled off room that you knew nothing about before buying the house are big signs that you probably shouldn't buy that house.
3 huge red flags.
And also, yeah. And maybe then don't take the stuff off the walled off room where you're hearing weird noises. Just move out. Just move out then. Or leave it walled up. One of the two.
Yeah, like if I go into a house and something's boarded off, my first thought is going to be, why did they have to board this off?
That's my next bad note. Is like, why is this boarded up? Oh, no reason, probably.
No reason. Let's just open it up and immediately go walking into it with a lit flame. A lit, uncovered flame.
Also,
what if there was a gas leak down there? What if they closed it
Right.
off because there's a literal gas leak down there? You stupid...
But fun fact, the haunted farmhouse that my parents moved all of us into in the 70s, at the top of the stairs had a walled off room.
Wonderful. That must have
Did you ever find out what was on the other side?
I did not, because I was terrified of everything in that house. But that is where my parents hid our Christmas presents.
That's why you're alive today. You never went into the walled up room. Good job.
That was completely irresistible for me as a child. I lived in an old house that also had some walled off areas, and I would always find ways to get into them. There was a local church that had been abandoned for many, many years, and I found ways to sneak into the church because it was, and even within the church, there were some rooms that were actually completely walled off, and I found different ways to get to them through maintenance tunnels and stuff like that.
Yes.
I love
adult Jamie. 100% in on that. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
From teenage on, yes. But under 11 Jamie, who lived in the haunted farmhouse that didn't want to live in the haunted farmhouse and slept with her light on until she was 11 and stopped sleeping with her light on the moment she moved out of that house, wanted nothing to do with walled-off rooms in that house.
It's funny because I'm the exact opposite. Flip-flop that. When I was a child, I found it irresistible, and I had to go into these kind of haunted, abandoned places. As an adult, I stay away from them.
The vortex of ghosts around you were constantly telling you.
They were pulling you in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I put it this way. I never felt like people said that the old church was haunted and they said they saw ghosts in there and stuff like that. That never scared me away from that. I figured if there were ghosts in there, I would just talk to them. I would ask them why they're here, what you're doing, that
they
kind of
are
thing.
your friends.
Kelly's like, there was no ghost in there, just a bunch of regular people.
Yeah, they were regular people trapped there for eternity that didn't have legs.
They wore really weird clothes and they were kind of see-through, but they were just regular people.
They're speaking a language I don't understand, but they seem nice. They gave me a tortilla. It tasted like a dust bunny.
Why do you do this?
Don't eat the ghost food. That's also a bad thing.
That's how you get spirited away. Don't do that.
Yes. I have a lot of bad notes, actually, because there's a lot of things in this movie that just piss me off.
I have one more, so let's hear some of them.
Yeah, okay. I only have one more, too.
The bullshit anti-witch propaganda that is in this movie makes me want to scream.
For a movie about the occult, it sure does hate the occult, doesn't it?
Right? Yes. First of all, you're in the general area of the Salem witch trials, and then you're talking about this woman like she was a real witch, when we know damn well that all the people who were killed in the Salem witch trials were not witches, and they were just murdered because people didn't like them for whatever reason, because they were a little out of the norm. Not only that, but you're sitting there saying she was a witch and therefore she was worshiping the devil while you're literally touching somebody and getting visions of their life.
Well, there's good witches and bad witches, right?
Yeah, the way these movies, like, they objectify, and this isn't the only one, like, there've been other movies that came at similar era, similar type of vibe, or, I mean, like, in the 70s, I'm thinking that a lot of these kind of movies came out, that they aggrandize the occult and these paranormal experiences, but there's also the tagline in the movie, which is, don't seek these things out. They're horrible for you. You don't want these things to happen to you. Look how amazingly fucked up this story is, and people will be invariably drawn to it. And just now I made the connection going, so these evangelical people are like, this stuff is really cool looking, but you're not supposed to do it. And I was like, oh, they're really against gay stuff too. Oh, it all makes sense. They're like, even if you find that man down the street kind of handsome and you think he's pretty and you want to give him a little kiss on the cheek, you got to stay away from it. It'll be welcoming the devil into your house.
Wait, that even is an allegory with the room in the Warrens' house that their daughter's not supposed to touch.
Exactly. This movie is all about, look at that cool thing that you want to do, don't do it, because the Bible says not to do it.
Now, being gay is a lot like stepping in gum, you see.
Hey, you know what? Some parties I've been to, you do get some stuff on your feet, so.
Well, that certainly calls for a dirty.
Why did we go there? Why did we go there?
Yeah,
you gotta wipe your feet off before you get back home, and it is probably a good idea to take your jacket off and just throw it in the dumpster.
You can edit that one out if you wanted to.
I could. That is a choice that I'll leave up to editing Kelly. Let's see what he decides.
Along the note of the slander, not the weird tangent we just went on.
You're like, ooh,
but the slander.
Wait. I'm sorry, my brain is terrible. And you're like, ooh, I went to ectoplasm. I stepped in ectoplasm.
Only we could connect The Conjuring to coming home with a walk of shame from a gay sex party.
No, I wasn't at a gay sex party. I'm a paranormal investigator, and I stepped in ectoplasm.
There are a lot of demons tonight, boy. Lots of demons.
Sure, Jan.
The crow slander annoyed me, too. The crow slander annoyed me. Crows are not demons, and they don't bring demonic entities, and quit making them do that in movies.
That depends on if you're asking the wildlings or not, because the wildlings would agree that crows are demons.
Bad omen.
No, they are not. They are not bad omens. Don't be hating on my crows and my ravens.
I still can't tell the fucking difference. That was like, I don't know, 40, 50 episodes ago that you explained it to us. I still don't fucking know the difference. I think they all seem like cool birds, but...
Wow. Oh, they all look the same. Kelly Gray. You heard it here first.
Any crows listening to the show are like, Jesus Christ, I thought he was an ally.
The best way to know is that if you're like, oh, look, that's a kind of a big crow. That's a crow. If you're like, holy shit, that is the biggest fucking crow I've ever seen in my life, that's a raven.
What if you're just like, wow, that sure is a tiny raven?
How do I get him to hold still so I can measure him?
You don't fucking understand what it's like working with actors. That's what that is.
No, I'm telling you, like, first of all, unless you've been up north, you probably haven't seen any around here because they're pretty much just north of us, about an hour north before you get to the first ravens.
I just seen a whole flock of the tiniest ravens. You never believe it.
And crows are in flocks and ravens are not. That's another way. But anyways.
That makes it extra weird that those tiny ravens were in a flock.
So ravens are loners. They're a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
They're a rebel. Classic.
Two. Basically, they stick around in twos. And they mate for life. So it's like their mating pairs are up by themselves.
Yeah, I used to work at a health clinic when I was in college, and the back door, we had this huge tree. It was and it was a train yard, so there was a bunch of trees back there. I was convinced that I'm pretty sure there were crows in the tree, because there was about, I don't know, a dozen of them, maybe a little bit more. And some of the workers, they would bring trinkets and stuff like that too. And some of the workers they would talk to, and some of them they would like fly away from and stuff. And I always liked the fact that I would always go out and talk to them when I was on break. I don't know if they ever paid attention to me or not, but you know. Ravens
have about a 4.5 to 5 foot wingspan. That's how big they are. They're big.
Dirty.
Well, and they sound different too, right? So.
Let's talk about this nevermore.
The family picture, that was such a horribly fake picture.
Yeah.
Like it's at the beach, but all it is a blue background, and not even a good sky background, like a fake blue sky background.
Yeah, anybody that's lived through the 70s and 80s, they're like that. You didn't go to the beach, you went to Sears.
Yeah, exactly. The college student hitting on the teenager. Gag.
It was the 70s. That's what they did back then, unfortunately.
No, still gag.
Wait,
still gag.
Who was the college student hitting on the teenager? What was...
The paranormal investigator was like flirting with the oldest girl or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's...
And he was very clearly there, like college, at the college that they were speaking at.
And you know what, Keith,
you can say... Young.
And you can say, like, it was kind of a sign of the times and stuff like that. And that'd be fine. Like, if this were a real story, if this were based on a true story, and in that true story, one of the paranormal investigators was flirting with one of the girls that lived in the house or whatever, that kind of thing, okay, then you can add it. Unless it was explicitly said as part of the original story.
They added it, yeah.
You added this to the story so that it's not,
right.
It doesn't get a pass for that's what happened in the 70s. No, that's what happened in 2011.
I wasn't excusing.
Yeah.
I said,
unfortunately,
that is what happened.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we're going to talk about a little bit of that in the ugly column, but
okay.
Let me squeeze my last bad in here.
Yeah.
Which it's not really a bad, but it made me laugh in the horror movie, which is kind of, takes you out if it's not explicitly a comedy horror. When she gets the sensation of the demon, Lorraine, when she's out by the tree, she says she killed her kids, cursed anyone who would take her land, climbed the tree, and hung herself. And I just wrote down, so dramatic. And I mentioned it reminds me of Lucille Bluth saying, they made me want to set myself on fire.
Yep, that's exactly what went through my mind. Oh. Yeah, and it just seemed weird, like, that she was talking about the kids. I understand that. A mother caring about different things, and take my land. Like, why are you worried about zoning laws, lady? Like, this seems like such an odd... I didn't get the right paperwork. I'm going to hang myself for it.
After you're dead.
That is actually rooted. That is actually rooted in the Salem witch trials, because there were a lot of people turning in their neighbors so that they could take over their land. So that actually makes sense.
Yeah,
more than the rest of it.
I get it.
But it doesn't in the scheme of the story. 100%.
And it's just the she did this and this and this and this and this is like laundry list of terrible things. It's like, Jesus, lady, calm down. Like, why?
And here's where I would like to interject the fact that Bathsheba character was based on a real person who went through real witch trials and was actually killed in the witch trials.
No.
She didn't hang herself. Yes.
Yeah. She didn't die. She lived to be an old person and died of natural causes. The real Beth,
that's
Beth,
right.
whatever her name is. I don't know. According to the article I read, they said the parents' beliefs and pinned it all on Bathsheba, who was a real person who had been suspected and acquitted of killing a child, not even her own child. She also didn't kill herself, and she died of natural causes in old age.
That's what they want you to believe.
Also didn't even live there.
Right.
My land.
Yeah, so, that's where this movie, I will say that that's part of my ugly column, so I won't get into it too much, but, the fact that they deviate from what was already probably a pretty interesting story, yeah. We'll talk about it.
There's a reason for that, and we'll talk about that in the ugly for sure. What else you got, Keith?
That's it. I'm out.
My last bad is all the jump scares. I didn't need it. I don't like jump scares in movies. I think jump scares are cheap. I think jump scares are just handing somebody a bowl of sugar with a spoon and saying, here's your dessert. I think it is the cheapest, lowest brow, the least interesting way to scare an audience, and I have no interest in it. And every time this movie did it, it knocked it down in my mind. And they did it a lot.
Now, here's the thing. Here's how bad jump scares are in horror movies that aren't good. That there was so few in this movie compared to a bad horror movie. I barely clocked them. That's how bad. And I agree with you. But
you probably just weren't clocking them because you weren't seeing the mini jump scares as actual jump scares. But literally, even before the haunting started, there was already 40 jump scares or something. I mean, I feel like if I went back and watched this and I put a little tick down every time I interpret it as a jump scare, you would look at the chart and go, oh, fuck, I didn't even count half of those as such.
Right.
But yeah, for me as a non-jump scare fan...
I think that means that you're just jumpy.
Yeah, I don't like jump scares in general. Yeah, I don't like haunted houses. I don't like... I don't like, what is it, hot sauce? I don't like, I don't like a lot of things that just cause you to feel a little zing of pain that's not pleasure to me. That's not having somebody jump and go, at me. It doesn't, thanks. Thank you so much. You throw something at me too. Well, that's the end of my bad, y'all.
The dropping of the holy water is the end of my bad too.
Yeah, he gets one shake. He gets one shake out of it and then drops it. Come on, man.
Yeah, right. Instantaneously. You're real good at this exorcism shit, aren't you?
Well, he was nervous.
It's like a policeman dropping his gun, the first
he just falls out of his hands, clunk, clunk, clunk.
All right, so it sounds like it's time to move on and talk about the ugly. My very first ugly is Annabelle the doll is fucking fugly, and I'm not even scared. It's just horrible to look at.
Yeah, who was going to believe that that's an actual doll? Have you seen the actual real doll? Yeah. It just looks like Raggedy Ann, is all it is.
Yeah, it is Raggedy Ann. Yeah. And the real Annabelle is Raggedy Ann.
That's believable. That's scary. The doll in the movie? No, I don't know a parent that's going to buy that for their fucking 3-year-old or their baby. Who the... What? Are you kidding?
It's supposed to be really old.
Look at the eyes in that thing.
It's supposed to be really old.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be ancient, in the 1800s doll.
It looks like that's
to be representing.
That's the new model they're going to use in Megan 5 or whatever M5kin or whatever it is.
Don't give them ideas. They might.
I'll tear your head right off your fucking neck, I swear to God.
They might. Don't give them ideas.
A funny side note is that last week or 2 weeks ago, some guy was touring around with the Annabelle doll and he died and the doll is missing. So take that for what it's worth.
It's back now because now Matt Rife bought it.
Yeah, so hopefully...
Jesus Christ.
He bought the whole... He bought the entire Warren Museum.
Annabelle, you're up. Let's see what you got.
Matt Rife bought it, so hopefully is
next coming to the plate, Annabelle doll, batting .307.
He not only bought Annabelle, he bought the entire Warren's museum.
Yeah, he bought their house, their property, and their entire museum collection.
Good.
I hope he just opens all of the cabinets and just plays with them all on the floor and goes to sleep.
Yes.
Yes.
I can see the bird's eye view of the room and him just lying on the ground with all these stuffed animals and he's just going, and he's cuddling, and that's how the movie ends and everybody in the audience goes, yay.
This is where we get to my vitriol. This is literally, my ugly is just me spewing vitriol.
Well, let's get one thing out of the way that I think we're all going to agree on. A dead dog. That sucks. I hate seeing dead dogs.
That's my second
movies.
one. You killed the dog.
Yep.
Look, I get it. It kind of sets the tone. It makes you uncomfortable, but it's such a trope, and it makes me so uncomfortable.
The dog could have just run away.
Yeah, I just wish people would find another way. Like, part of me gets it because as a horror fan, I do want things to be horrific, but it's just a fucking bummer every time now. Every time.
And then to make the child find it on top of that?
Yeah,
It hurts my soul.
Yeah, too many people have to deal with this in their real life to the point where, like, horror, it should be the kind of horror that we're not experiencing. I don't know. I'm not a horror fan, so maybe I'm speaking out of my ass, but that shorthand like that, that would be like every horror movie having a trope where you watch your parent die of dementia or having cancer. Like,
Right.
how many people watching the movie went through that? We don't need to relive that in order to have empathy. You have other ways around that. The birds flying into the house would have been enough. The dog running away would have been enough. Unless you're trying to stay true to a true story, in which case, maybe you should change a few other things about your movie too, but that's a different point. Oh, Jamie, go ahead.
The fucking Warrens. That's my first one. Is the fucking Warrens. I fucking hate the fucking Warrens.
Yep, this movie whitewashes them so fucking, like,
oh my god,
dramatically.
It is their heroic wet dream of a movie because they were kicked out of the Perron's house because they did not help them. They did not help them. They did not save anybody. They were completely useless, and then they trumped up the story and made it a little better and sold and made money off of it and didn't share it with anybody.
They're
fucking hate the Warrens.
Hack fraud grifters.
Even the movie version of them makes them look so fucking like, well, gee gosh, mister, and that kind of stuff where I'm like, you're all just fakes. You're making this. I don't believe this. I believe that this is a view of it, but I don't believe you.
They claim that they are chosen by God to fight evil.
Yes, together for life.
It's Boondock Saints, but they charge you for it.
Yeah,
right.
and then they trump up the story more and then sell it and then make a ton of money off of it and don't share any with you over your story.
Yeah.
And
the real life Warrens were despicable
time,
people, and the Warrens in this movie strike me as the kind of couple that we saw your energy from across the bar kind of couple.
Yeah. Everything that they say here is showing themselves to be the saviors, and they didn't do shit for anybody except for turn houses into like tourist attractions so that people wouldn't leave people that lived in them alone. And even now, like this house, the actual Conjuring house, is embroiled in a huge scandal because some crazy person bought it and marketed it as this haunted house and invited all these paranormal researchers in, and they found nothing. And so then she went on this rampage and tried to like basically discredit all these paranormal researchers and sued them all. And it's just they created a whole monster because of their stupid BS. And they believe that everything is a fucking demon. And they believe that everything is a fucking demon. Anything except for them.
I asked
by God,
for
but
no
literally
mustard.
Everything else.
This hamburger is a fucking demon. The person that made it.
Yeah.
My tea is a little too hot. Demon!
Demons are invading my hot coffee.
Yes. I went to the diner and I wanted to get coffee and I got tea instead because the demons infested everybody at the diner to try to take me down. Like I hate
toothache
so much.
My toothache, I need to call the church. That's who I need to call. Yep. I need to get right with God. That's where
And by the time this movie came out, we all knew that they were fakes and we all knew that they were frauds. So the fact that this movie tries to paint them as these
Who wrote
wonderful
this? Who
people.
decided that this was the story they wanted to tell? Like, who had
Lorraine
a vested
Warren,
interest there?
Because she was involved.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Got it. All right.
That's gonna dovetail into my main ugly, which goes back to the paranormal investigator hitting on a teenager. The Ed Warren had a 40-year relationship with a woman that started when the woman was 15, and they actually moved her into their house, and Lorraine forced her to have an abortion rather than a scandal come out about them, extramarital activities. So the holy warriors chosen by God were fucking teenagers and making them have mandatory abortions. So
how is that different? Well, I mean, if in our current culture, they could have been president.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how do you enshrine people like that are, I understand people, there are some evil people out there, people are nuanced, there are some people that do bad and do good and yada yada, but I'm not going to take somebody that has this much dirt on their grave and put them on a fucking pedestal like that. That's wow.
But remember, the person that put them on the pedestal was her. She funded. This is Lorraine Warren's wet dream. Like I said, it's her heroic wet dream of what their life was really like. It was her story and her telling it.
Yeah, and that's what it kind of bleeds into one of my uglies as well. That the real history of some of these paranormal events are interesting enough without Hollywooding all over it.
Yes,
and
right.
I wonder, is there a market for movies that stick true to the story? Like part of what Blair Witch Project, when it came out, everybody was clamoring for it because they wanted a story that was gritty and based in true. And there are some really cool ghost stories out there. Why don't we see them being made? Because I don't know, it feels like you have documentaries on one side and then you have these very fantastical movies like, let's say, Poltergeist and stuff like that on the other. And I think there's somewhere in the middle. And why don't we see that? Why, even like a B movie, are there movies like that? It's just a blind spot for me? I don't know, because it feels like every time I watch a movie like this, even Mothman Prophecies, I want to see Mothman Prophecies remade without all the extra shit. I want to see something like this made without all the extra. I want the Warrens painted as the horrible fucking people they are. I want the Perrons dealing with this on their own, even though the media is trying to get their attention and they're dealing with all this on all. That is a fucking interesting story. Why did you fucking ruin it with this extra bullshit?
And there was like in the house, in the history of the house, had 8 generations of families that lived there before the Perrons moved in, and there were 2 documented suicides, a poisoning, a sexual assault and murder of an 11-year-old, 2 drownings, 4 men froze to death, and a woman who did hang herself in the barn when she was 93 years old. Like, there's a lot of interesting ways you could have went with that without going down this stupid demon hunter savior bullshit ass shit.
Flashing back to all the different people that have died there over the years and making the viewer, making the audience try to figure out, are these connected? Is there something going on? That is creepy to me. And then the family has little tiny things happen while they're in the house. Yeah, like the moment that we see the hands come out of the wardrobe and clap next to the person. Well, in my mind, part of my mind, the mystery is solved. I mean, it's not 100% solved, but I know 100% that supernatural shit is happening here. There are ghosts that are haunting this place, or demons, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. I like living in that maybe realm. That's part of. I keep bringing myself back to Mothman Prophecies. That's why I enjoyed it, because half the movie you could be convinced that nothing is actually happening. These people are just going they're losing their minds. This movie, there's no doubt that people aren't losing their minds. Something bad is happening to them immediately, and that mystery is vapored away.
I have no more ugly.
I have one more.
I already kind of touched on. It was all witches aren't fucking demonic, and Salem witches weren't even witches, and why the fuck are we still pretending like they were?
Yeah, this movie seems rooted in an ideology that got out of the zeitgeist 30 years ago. The way they treated people is how people, even the way they frame things and the way they talk about things feels very 80s. This movie feels like it was made in the 70s or 80s, but it's using current day effects. Right. Yeah, my last ugly is, I just want to say it one more time, that's how bad it was for me. So many jump scares. And I bring it up because as somebody, I know I'm not the only one. There are a lot of people I know that they don't want to watch certain genres of movies because of blank. And the 2 things that pull me away from horror movies are jump scares and excessive gore that don't serve the plot. This movie didn't have too much gore, so that was okay. Whatever gore was there felt appropriate to me, but the excessive amount of jump scares, even when they were unnecessary, just to try to keep the audience anxious and on their toes or whatever, I don't know, but if you're the kind of person that doesn't get into jump scares, this movie turns you off. You're alienating a huge portion of the audience just because you're relying on this cheap fucking trick. It's like having a restaurant and you put garlic in everything. For a lot of people, yes, we love garlic, but for anybody that doesn't like garlic, they're just going to skip your whole fucking restaurant, anything that you're involved with, because they know garlic is in everything, so fuck off kind of thing.
Yeah, a vampire will never eat at your restaurant.
Exactly, especially if you don't invite them in. You have to have specials. So I have a question for you that isn't even in our good, bad, and ugly. But Poltergeist seemed to be brought up a lot, and it seems like a very similar movie. Which do you like better, Poltergeist or this?
I like this one better.
Any particular reason? Even with the bad and the ugly they've mentioned, why do you like this better than Poltergeist?
Maybe just because it felt more relatable to me and my personal life experience. I don't know. Maybe because the special effects were a little more updated. Mm-hmm. Although I will say that as a child, like I watched Poltergeist when I was very young, and I did not watch it again until I was an adult because it really did freak me out. This movie also gave me that same feeling, and so maybe it's just because it's newer and it was able to do it when I was an adult as opposed to a child. Because the Poltergeist didn't scare me nearly as much as an adult as it did when I was a child.
What about you, Keith? Do you like this or Poltergeist better?
Overall, I like Poltergeist better. I like the ending of this one because it gave me. I like the whole grueling Evil Dead demonic horror. So I like the ending segment of this, but I think Poltergeist is probably a better movie, a little more fun. I like the paranormal investigation aspect a little bit better in Poltergeist.
You just liked the little person investigator. She was fucking amazing. I forget her
great,
name, but
it has been cleansed.
Yeah, she's so good. Yeah, I would probably say I kind of like this one a little bit better than Poltergeist, even with all the aggrandizing of the Warrens and all the jump scares. It feels like the aesthetic was...
It's a well-crafted movie.
Yeah, it was pleasant to look at as long as they weren't going, at me. All right, so those were our primary thoughts on The Conjuring. Now we ask ourselves the three questions before we ask ourselves the final question, and the first question of which is, if this movie had a promotional popcorn bucket, what would it look like?
The music box.
Yes.
Oh, that's the easy slam dunk. It would just be that top, what is it, the carousel type music box?
The Jack in the Box.
You have to turn it to get your popcorn.
And you don't know when it's going to open, and the popcorn shoots all over you.
Uh-huh.
It shoots blood into your mouth, all goopy.
Mm-hmm.
All the goop.
Yeah.
Goopy blood into your mouth.
Extra. Yeah, it shoots the butter directly into your mouth.
Again, dirty.
I'm having a flashback of UHF when them turning on the fire hose, and that's the butter.
You get to drink from the fire hose. I love that movie.
The second question is, if this movie, the cast was completely replaced by the cast of the Muppets, who would remain as the one human in the cast?
I have two answers.
Okay. Go ahead.
One is the mom. She's the only human. So there's a bunch
that would be my choice, yeah.
I could see it.
The other one is the dad, because he's just kind of a schlupp who's like there and like all this stuff is happening around him and he's powerless to do anything. I think it would be funny to see all this Muppet chaos going on. The dad's just kind of like I don't know what to do.
Miss Piggy is the possessed Muppet, or Miss Piggy as Lorraine? Which one would she be?
Yeah, like I was thinking that Miss Piggy would work better as the possessed mom, because when she starts going off on everybody later, like it makes more sense. She'll be doing all of her karate chops and stuff.
I don't know, man. I feel like Miss Piggy and Lorraine Warren kind of have the same level of self-worth about themselves.
Uh-huh.
But she's so maudlin compared to Miss Piggy, so maybe that would be the interesting twist, is that Miss Piggy would be a lot more flamboyant and boisterous, telling her husband to shut the fuck up. Well, not using those exact words, but...
Right.
I guess the husband could be Kermit as well. So.
Yeah, Kermit as Ed is good.
Yeah.
Kermit as Ed is good.
Well, gee gosh, mister, it's like getting bubblegum out here. Yeah. Now it all makes sense, yeah. Kermit actually improves. Even if this wasn't sold as a Muppet movie, just replace the primary male.
He'd have to have like the 70s collar and the
the brown suit.
Of course.
Yes, the brown suit would travel with him.
And the hairpiece with sideburns.
Glasses every once in a while when he's reading something. Yeah.
I just want to say before we move on that I missed the opportunity to make a hair up, glasses on joke about the Annabelle doll, because that's how it's one of those situations.
Yeah. All right, so our final question is, who is your MVP? It could be a character, it could be the actor playing the character, it could be something eccentric, like the color of the couch in the third scene. Who's your MVP, the most valuable part of this movie?
I'm going to go back to the set dressing and the reality of the sets. just nailed it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Visually, the movie was beautiful to look at.
I'm going to go with director James Wan because as I clocked it in the very first opening of the movie, I like the... really? I thought we talked about how...
All the jump scares, man. Where do you think those came from?
That's a script. That's a script issue, not a director issue.
All right, okay, then I take back my boo. Oop.
I thought it was extremely visually interesting. And like I said, a lot of motion for this movie. It's not an action movie, but there's still constant motion going on, and it visually draws you in. The framing of all the scenes worked well. I think it was a very well directed movie.
I would like to. I didn't bring it up yet, but the music by Joseph Bashara I thought was really good too. That would be kind of an honorable mention to me because I think the music was really. It didn't have to stand out, but when it did jump up, it was really good at taking center stage on it. But I would say that the director of photography or the people in charge of cinematography, maybe John R. Leonetti would be one of those people involved. But I thought that the visual appearance of the movie, it looked both old school but really well done too, like high def but low quality, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know how
lo-fi high def. Yeah.
Perfect lo-fi. Yes, this is what lo-fi should look like. And every scene I could smell, every scene I could feel what the couch felt like, just because the way they filmed it was
every
so
scene?
brilliant. Yeah, even the
farting scene.
Yeah, but even then, like the way that they maybe this is partly the director too, but the way that it was framed, the way that it looked like. I could feel it getting cold in that room, and I could feel that those beds were a little uncomfortable. I could feel how shitty those mattresses must feel on those old frames and stuff. Like, I don't know. It had a very tactile, visceral quality to the whole movie, so, yeah. So the final question, that really is the only question that matters, is when it comes to The Conjuring, did you enjoy it, and would you give it a thumbs up?
You really want to do this? Here. Now? Yes. Okay, let's do it!
Yes. Can I give the movie a thumbs up and give the Warrens a thumbs down? Because
I hope so, because
they are characters in this movie. The real people seem to be just truly awful people, and you have to treat this like that is not real. It's not a realistic depiction. That is it's more fiction than real in this movie.
Can you imagine one of the three of us at the end of this entire review being like, you know what? I don't care. I like the Warrens. They're okay.
It would be you, Kelly, and we might have to
dump you
off a cliff.
So yes, thumbs up to the movie, 2 thumbs down to the Warrens. I do not endorse the Warrens.
I do. I love this movie. It's definitely a thumbs up for me. But again, yes, fuck the Warrens. Nothing about them is good or redeemable or should be praised at all. But this story in this movie and the way it's shot and all of the things that come together make this a really good horror movie for me. So, thumbs up. Hal?
I'm glad the two of you went first, because I would not be comfortable giving this a thumbs up and giving it a perfect rating from us. So, just for purely political reasons, I'm giving this a thumbs down.
Good.
But it is all supported in fact. I mean, it's right on the cusp. It is a good movie that I didn't enjoy, or it's a bad good movie, or something like that, because the jump scares, the inattention to actual history, the aggrandizing of horrible, despicable fucking people, the dead dog, all these kind of things rolled into one. On paper, I should not like this movie. Somehow, I still had a fairly enjoyable time going through. I definitely wouldn't watch it again, and I would only recommend it with caveats. If somebody said they enjoy this kind of horror, I would look up other movies that might be more in their vein. This would be lower on the chart of my recommendations. But if you don't mind jump scares and you don't care about realism, then it's probably a wonderful movie. Like, if you jump scares don't bother you at all, this is a good horror movie. But for me, with the realism faux pas and the stupid little tropey shit, it's just barely falls into no.
And the good news is we didn't contribute any money to fucking Lorraine or Ed's pockets, because they're both dead where they belong.
And you heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen.
I fucking hate the Warrens. I have for decades.
Yep.
Yeah, and the more I knew, I mean, I had a thing for these kind of. This is what grifters were before they were on Twitter. This is where you get the used car sales. And then as somebody that, like, as you would have guessed with the upbringing that I had, ghost hunting and paranormal investigation is something that I thought was super interesting. I thought that I might have some skills in that area. So I did some of this as a child, even as a teenager and stuff. And when I started looking into people like this, it made me go, oh, so that's the kind of people that I'm acting like? Ew. It turned the entire idea off to me until later on in life where I see these reality shows coming out where some people are actually kind of taking it somewhat seriously. And I'm like, oh, those people do exist. Why did I see this when I was a kid? Why did I only see the fucking weirdo religious crackpots that show me a doll and tell me that it's going to invade my house, but somehow it's okay for him to be holding on to because he's special?
Because a lot of them are our contemporaries, or basically our contemporaries in age, that saw that and were like, that shit's crazy and I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, and that's where, like, as a teenager, I started doing, like, super amateur, super rough around the edges. Obviously, I was still a kid, but I started trying to do my own paranormal investigations. And I quickly found out that when you start to apply the scientific method to a lot of these things, 99.999% of the cases, nothing is fucking happening. It's just people having, or it's just not happening when you're there or something. But either way, you don't have anything that you can point at and go, here's proof of ghosts. Here's proof of demons. Because you know what? If there was proof of ghosts and demons, it would probably be fucking out there. I'm looking at you, Bigfoot. Why do we not have a single fucking picture of Bigfoot since 1973 or whatever it is? Because they don't fucking exist.
They just have the same quality of those 1973 photos, which is why we question their validity.
Yeah,
because they don't look any clearer.
So yeah, those were our thoughts on The Conjuring. Next week we are coming back to continue the Conjuring series with, is it just The Conjuring 2? Now with more Annabelle?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Basically, yep.
I was just guessing. I didn't know.
A cereal box. Now with more Annabelle.
There's The Conjuring. The first one is The Conjuring, and it has the whole Conjuring series. The second one starts the Annabelle series, and the third one starts the Nun series.
Yeah, all these spin-offs.
Yeah, yep. And the fourth one we don't know yet, but it does look creepy and good.
I guess and you have seen how many of these before, Jamie? Like all of them?
I have seen all of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
This was my first time watching this, and it'll be my first time watching 2 and 3, and however many more we end up watching. So cool.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody listening. We had a great time chatting with y'all. Of course, even if there are parts of the movie that I don't enjoy, half the fun is debating it and mocking it with the two of you. And of course, if you'd like to join in on the conversation, as we mentioned earlier, you can find us on social media. So come tell us, what did you think of The Conjuring? What do you think of the Warrens? Have you ever watched this movie? Did our review make you want to watch it? Who hurt you? For Screen Share and Chill, I'm Kelly.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Jamie.
Have a good one. Don't step in any gum.
And fuck the Warrens.
Fuck the Warrens. I left one thing out of my ugly column, and it's that, the cop that was helping them out in the paranormal investigation. If a cop took a shit in my house, it would ruin my month. I would be inconsolable.
And from the scene at first, I was like, did he just shit in the closet? Was there a bathroom there, or was that the closet?
Yeah, don't let cops shit in your house. Goodbye.
I'm going to call the police. You go ahead, call them. Call anybody you want. They can't do anything to me. Not anymore. And nor can any of you.